Kevin, I thought we'd talk a little bit about moldings, on where they're used or how they're used and what materials they're made of.
Okay, and no shortage of choices in this place.
There's a lot of choices. Let's start off with this crown molding right here. Now you're looking at a piece of red oak that's clear. You'd either clear coat this or stain it.
Probably the most expensive option, and no point in putting paint on this because you want to see that wood.
Exactly. Here's a piece of clear pine. It's long, it's clear, and you would stain this or clear coat this also.
And by clear, you mean there are really no knots in it. It's a nice clean length of continuous pine.
Right.
That's going to be a little less expensive than the oak, correct?
Exactly. Now here's a piece of clear pine also, but it's primed. If you look on the back, it's actually made up of little pieces of pine that are finger jointed together.
Gotcha.
What they do is they cut out all the imperfections and glue the short pieces together.
Paint it, and we'll cover up those joints, and that's going to be a little bit less expensive still.
Now here's another option right here. This is MDF. Comes in long lanes. It's very stable. All right. But it's primed and should be painted.
Gotcha. Medium density fiberboard. And what's this one right next to it?
Well, this is a polymer. It's about the same price as the medium density fiberboard. You can put this up just as it is. It's considered pre-finished, but you can also stain it or paint it.
Gotcha. All right, so those are the species. Let's stick with the crown molding and talk about where they're going to go and what they're going to look like.
All right. Well, let's grab that piece of wallboard right there.
Here's
and
our
this
wall.
This is a cross-section of a larger piece of crown molding that we just looked at.
Yeah, pretty standard profile, right?
Right. Or it would go on the wall like that and up against the ceiling.
Comes in different sizes and different profiles.
A lot of different profiles. We'll talk about baseboard. Traditional baseboard is square edge, different heights.
And as simple as you can get.
Right. Now you can take a piece of base trim and drop it on top and really dress it up.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's a two-piece build-up right there, base and base cap.
Right. Again, this can be stained. Come in different species of material also. Now here's a piece of primed pine. The molding is actually milled into the piece.
So base cap and base are one piece.
Right, you can get a different width, also wider. This is called speed base.
Gotcha.
Goes down as one piece.
Let's talk about, was it shoe molding?
Shoe molding would go down on top of the base.
Sometimes used to cover up the gaps between the base and the floor.
Right. Now, some people use a piece of quarter round. This is a different size quarter round. This is kind of bulky, I think. It's too heavy. You could use a smaller piece of quarter round, but what I like is the actual piece of shoe molding. It's taller than it is thicker.
Gotcha, and that's going to just go right down
Right
here
on top.
between
That
the floor and the
gap.
base cap, and not such a bad look either.
Now, let's talk about chair rails.
All right, let's bring our wall back here.
We have a piece of profile right here that you can put right flat on the wall. You can designate the height where you want it and go around the perimeter of the room.
And here it is an oak, a different species. And oftentimes people would paint this in a different color down below versus the wall going up.
Sometimes you can actually take a flat molding and put it around the room and make up little panels also.
Gotcha. And if you don't like panels, sometimes you see people use a bead board, which is applied right here.
But you're going to have a bad edge there at the top.
All right, so you wouldn't want to put the flat on there.
Well, if you did, it's a lot of work. You'd have to make a piece and fill it and sand it. A lot of work.
Gotcha.
They actually make a molding like this with a rabbet off the back to accept the thickness of the panel and hide that gap.
Gotcha. How about windows? What do you got for us on windows?
All right, I think the most common that people see today is a 2.5-inch colonial. Comes in different widths, different 3.5, 4.5.
A lot of
Miter
new
the
houses
corners.
with that profile
Yep,
right there.
yep.
Yeah. And that's a miter, obviously.
Quick
right?
way to trim a window, but a lot of people don't like to miter. So you could use this profile. It's a larger trim. Obviously, it's going to cost more than the colonial that we just used, but you can use the rosettes in the corners, square cuts, goes up nice and easy.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good look right there. All right, Tommy, lots of options. Thanks.